Hi, it's Chef Rick, and today I'm making tapas part 1. Okay, off we go. First thing I'm going to make here is some croquetas or croquettes. This is some old mashed potato. That's actually colcannon from the salmon and colcannon video. And this is some Gruyere cheese from the cheese souffle video. I'll link both of those above. So basically we're just using leftovers, but it's mashed potato and cheese at the core of this. Alter it and amend it in any way you want. Use any type of cheese, add any different flavours to your mashed potato, but really it's just mashed potato, cheese, and we're going to separate an egg because we want one egg yolk. Don't forget, whenever we separate eggs, you always do them over the container that you're happy for the white to go into, and then move the yolk off into its own different bowl. So to your mashed potato, again mine was a colcannon, don't forget, I've added the egg yolk and about half of that Gruyere because I just wanted it to mix through, and then we add the rest shortly. As you noticed, there was not really any quantities, it was just the rest of the Gruyere cheese that I had. This is going to make a really lovely cheesy mashed croquette. I often add ham to this, or chicken, or if you've got any cooked meat left over, add that. I would add cooked meat. Don't stick raw meat in there or anything, because you're really going to be cooking the outside and heat in the middle. You're not cooking the whole thing. That mash is obviously already cooked, but just give it a real good mix, and that's going to be the base for your croquettes. Tapas, of course, is small salty plates. There's unlimited amounts of tapas, so to call this video tapas is just, I'm only going to show you 3 dishes, and I'll just keep doing them as and when and make a bit of a series of them. But yeah, these are 3 of my favourites. So we're now going to cover up those the mix, put that in the fridge up until you're about ready to use it. You can leave that in the fridge for as long as you like. We're going to make a seasoned flour because we're going to be frying these, so that's just a normal flour to which I've added black pepper, white pepper, salt, chili powder, again just a touch of the chili powder. When we're adding chili powder to things like seasoned flours, you're not really getting any chili flavour out of them. It's more colour and like an undertone of flavour. There's some panko breadcrumbs. Any type of breadcrumbs will do. Panko breadcrumbs are always in the Chinese section, are super crunchy and are just great. This is the egg for the egg wash. Don't forget, whenever we're making an egg wash, we really want to blitz up those eggs rather than just give them a quick whisk. You want it like a liquid, like that, because it helps for dipping. And here we go, let's make a croquette or croqueta. So you take the cold now mash ball. Another benefit of putting it in the fridge as well, it makes it a lot easier to work with at this stage. Form it into any shape you want. I like that traditional kind of Spanish sausage with flat ends. There's probably a name for that type of shape. Into the seasoned flour. Into the egg wash. And I do this properly after everyone said on the last video I used the same hand. And then into the panko breadcrumbs, and I'll use the left hand, which is the dry hand, which just makes this whole process nice and easy. But into those breadcrumbs, and that's it. That's your croquette ready to go. Make as many of those as you want. I just stick mine on a plate here. You can see the fryers there on the left ready to go. So this is how many I had. Drop these into a fryer. This is at 160. Obviously great because this fryer's got a temperature gauge on it, but what you really want to do, if you're just using hot oil in a pan, just drop in one of those panko breadcrumbs, and if it fizzes like that, if the water bubbles and boils, but the breadcrumb doesn't just burn instantly, you've got about the right temperature. As with most fried things, when they're done, they will rise to the surface. Here are those croquettes done, in a bowl, and ready to go. Super crunchy on the outside, soft mash in the middle, with the lovely melting cheese. Absolutely beautiful. So now on to some sticky chorizo, or chorizo, but it's actually chorizo. First thing I'm going to do is remove the skin. So if you just run a knife around the outside, and there is like a thin papery skin around chorizo. Apparently some people leave this on, and there's a bit of a debate as to whether you should eat it with the skin on or with the skin off. I think you may as well debate whether you eat a banana with the skin or skin off. What are you talking about? Of course you take the skin off this. It's just you know, with paper, it's pointless. There you go. That's your chorizo sausage there, ready to go. So we're going to chop this into nice, big, thick pieces because we want a load of texture on them as well. Of course, chop these as thin as you like. It's entirely up to you. I'm just going to show you my method. Take some garlic cloves. All the quantities, of course, will be in the description. Take some garlic cloves, chop them finely, just like we do in every video. Just work left and right, left and right. No special technique, just a bit of time and a bit of patience. Just chop your garlic. This garlic doesn't need to be completely minced, of course. Just like nice little chunks like that. You're laughing. An onion, take off the top. Chop it in half through the root. Keeping that root intact makes the stops you crying when cutting it. Peel the onion. Again, when it's in half, peeling an onion is super easy. And just like we do in most videos, it seems we chop right the way down through the onion, but not going all the way back to the root. Very careful on that last one, don't forget to saw it. So the onion stays together like that. And then we go sideways in. And all you do is do it slow. Just move your fingers out of the way as you do it, and then chop down. And that is how you get your really nicely chopped onion. If you've seen any of my videos, you've seen me do that about 100 times. If you've not seen any of my videos before, if you're not subscribed to me, please hit subscribe at the bottom. It's free for you, but amazing for me. So if you choose to do that, I really appreciate it. And also, if you like them, can you hit like? If you don't like them, it's no problem at all. Into a pan, olive oil, onions. Just going to soften those onions. Cook them fairly gently until they go like that, soft, sticky, kind of see-through, but not really. But you don't want them to go brown or burn or caramelise. And into there you're going to add some garlic as well, the chopped up garlic. So you've got your onion and garlic cooking away. Again, on a low to medium heat because you don't want the onion or the garlic to burn. You do want to finally see a little bit of colour coming onto it. So you can see there's a tiny bit of colour in there, but it's not burnt. You can tell from the smell that there's no burnt garlic in there. So burnt garlic is very, very obvious. Move your onion and garlic to one edge of the pan. And then add your chorizo. Because these are quite big chunks, I've just manually turned it like with my hands, you know, put them basically for one side is touching the actual pan so that it can catch like that. See how it's going to crisp up? Absolutely beautiful. So that starts to melt and crisp and at the same time, whilst keeping the inside really lovely and soft, but it puts like a bit of a slightly crispy outside layer. When they've had about 10 minutes, turn them over, let the other side take. You can see that the paprika and the oils from the chorizo are going into the onion and the garlic there. So once you've got both sides have got a bit of a crust on them, toss them all around into the onions and garlic and the oils that are coming out of the sausage and the natural oils from the onion and the garlic, and all of that flavour is starting to combine. So it's absolutely beautiful. As I say, you know, it's easy for me to say, but you can imagine the smells going on at this point. Into there goes a glass of red wine. I used a Spanish red wine, of course. It seemed fitting because it's paella, so because it's chorizo. So I used a Rioja or Rioja, and then goes some honey. So in there you've got the onions, the garlic, the chorizo sausage, you've got red wine and honey, and now just let that cook down until the sauce becomes really, really sticky. Coats all of the chorizo and allow it. Oh yeah, if you have a lid for a pan, put the lid on for the first period, and then just turn that down to a medium heat. Then remove the lid for the final cooking stage, because removing the lid allows the steam to leave the liquid, and the steam leaving is water leaving, so it just concentrates the sauce and makes it lovely and sticky and covers that chorizo. Gorgeous. So there you go. Sticky chorizo in red wine and honey. You really, really need to add a bit of chopped parsley to this. I didn't have any chopped parsley. You can see why they do it, because it's just a bit dark and a bit black, but don't even worry about it. Stick a cocktail stick into one of them and then dunk some fresh white bread into the sauce. It's as good as you'll get anywhere. Beautiful. And now the final of today's trio, some Patatas Bravas, and I chose this just because it's really easy to make, but it's also probably the most famous thing on the tapas menu. So we're going to start with some garlic. top and tail of the garlic, which is basically removing the tops, removing the tails, crushing it with the back of our hand, just peeling it nice and easy. Use the back of a knife to flatten the garlic slightly, and it just makes it way easier to start breaking up and chopping. So we want to get these really, really nice and fine. And now into a pestle and mortar. We're going to put that garlic and really bash it into a paste. And just keep doing this. There's no trick. Just keep on going. The more you actually use, so if you're doing this en masse, the more garlic you put in there, the easier this is to do. You see how I'm having to keep scraping it away from the edges because I'm not using very much, but it is turning into a really nice paste. I'd just been cracking pepper in there previously, so it's gone a little bit darker, but it doesn't matter at all. That is minced garlic, and that's perfect for what we want. That colour is not going to affect us in the slightest. Lemon juice. Chop a lemon in half. Put it in a juicer, and that is our egg yolk, salt, garlic, and we just give that a whisk. We're making an aioli here. An aioli is like a super garlicky mayonnaise. It's really easy, not like mayonnaise, although mayonnaise is fairly easy, but this is a lot more forgiving than mayonnaise. So into that we're just going to pour our oil slowly, but mayonnaise you'd have to do it one drop at a time. With this you can do a little splash at a time, so just give it a little whisk. That's it, and then splash. See, mayonnaise now it'd be ruined. But this is fine. You can see all of a sudden it just catches, it all just combines. I'm just going to keep repeating this until all of your olive oil is gone. I'll speed up the video, but obviously not cut any of it out, so you can just really see how long it takes and how many whisks you'll end up having to do. And you're fine using a hand whisk as well. If you've got an electric whisk, again, you're okay, but this is it's fairly easy because you just got to give it a quick whisk, little pour, quick whisk, little pour, and so on and so on. So in the end you have an absolutely beautiful garlic aioli. Not aioli is garlic, but you know what I mean. Here we go. So just like a mayonnaise, in these very last stages, it goes really, really thick and quite difficult to whisk. So that's when you put the lemon juice in. It'll change the colour slightly, but it'll also thin it down, and it just makes it lovely and easy to whisk and perfect to work with. Splash more lemon. And just the texture's great. It's lovely and smooth. You taste it as well. Don't forget to taste it. You know, see what you think. Do you think it needs any? Do you want to season it? Does it need more lemon? This one just needed a little bit of salt. Don't season it with pepper, by the way, if you need to. When you're tasting it, you're not looking for a pepper seasoning. You just want to know whether you think it needs any more salt or not. Then put it into a container, and that's ready to go. Now here we go. So extra virgin olive oil. First, we're going to add some hot paprika, and then some just regular smoked paprika. All the quantities will be down in the description below. So this is a really funny sauce. It's probably one of the only sauces I make that goes like this, and I'll leave the whole cooking of this sauce in the video just to explain, because if you copy me, you'll think you've gone wrong, but don't worry, you've not. So into the olive oil there, we've got the hot and the smoked paprika. Give that a good stir, get it all combined. Let it heat through, and then you're going to add flour. A tablespoon of flour. So in there you've got flour, your paprika, and your olive oil. And as a chef, it's weird because like a dry spice like the paprika and oils, whenever you try and mix them together, they never quite mix right. So everything about this just feels wrong as a chef. You think, well, they're not going to mix. And then when you add this, when you add in the stock, that's the chicken stock, it just feels like it's split. And I thought, I'm just going to leave this bit in the video so you can really see. Because if you look at that now, you go, that sauce is split. And if you were just reading this recipe from a book, you might think, all right, we'll bin this off and let's start again. But if you watch what happens as you keep adding stock to it, even there you're like, am I rescuing this? Is this gonna happen or what? See what I mean? It just doesn't look right at all. But I promise you, I've not made a mistake here. Watch what happens out of nowhere. And I'm not whisking this either. As you can see, all I'm doing is stirring it in with a little metal spoon. So it's oily, there's dry spices in there, you've just added stock to it. Everything is telling you this shouldn't work, and then just almost out of nowhere, it becomes one of the smoothest sauces, well, that you can get. I mean, look at it, thickening big time there. I'm going to keep adding a tiny just bit more stock, just a little extra splash, just to keep it going. But look how smooth it suddenly goes out of nowhere. So be patient with this. Sometimes with patatas bravas, you go somewhere that's not Spanish, and they'll use like a tomato sauce, like a passata, which is nice. That's really, really nice. But you go anywhere proper, or to Spain, of course, and this is how it's made. So if you want to recreate it at home, this is what you do. In with the rest of the stock. Look at the shine on it. Absolutely beautiful paprika style sauce for the patatas bravas. Onto the patatas part of the bravas. That just means potato. Easiest thing in the world. We're just going to peel some potatoes. We're going to chop them into nice chunks. Again, this is the type of chunk that you would want to eat. You're the one cooking this. If you want to have it in thin strips, have it in thin strips. If you want to do it as, small chunks, just do whatever you want. But this is how I would always serve it. First one into a fryer on a slightly lower heat. This one's on at around about 160. And what I want to do this first time round, you can see that's just not violent at all. See, colour's not come on them, but the inside of them is starting to cook and soften, and they get a super, super thin film on the outside. Look at that. And then whenever you're ready, you're going to do them for there. So they went into the fridge, and then when I was ready on the final fry on a fairly high temperature, this was on about 180, this is going to put a really, really nice crisp on the outside and a beautiful colour. So they are light and soft and fluffy on the inside, and have a nice crisp on the outside, like a double cooked chip. That's pretty much exactly what it is, really. So there's your lovely potatoes. On with the paprika sauce, which you can kind of splash your potatoes in, but I like some of the potatoes to not have, just to have gaps in it like that. Just it's always been a bit more how I've had it served in restaurants, how I like it. Aioli, I'm trying to be artistic. I'm sure you can do it better than me. A little bit of aioli, the paprika sauce, that's patatas bravas. All three of those together, patatas bravas, the chorizo in the sticky sauce, and the croquetas. I forgot what I'd made there. All absolutely good. I really hope you made them yourself. Thank you so much for watching the video. This has been a long one. I appreciate every viewer, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.